Hello, my name is Nicola and I would like to welcome you to this webinar which focuses on supporting parents and carers with children's aggressive behaviours. This session aids to equip you in understanding the possible causes and effects of aggressive behaviours while offering support and guidance in managing the impact of aggressive behaviours in children and those around them. You will deepen your understanding of what aggressive behaviour involves and your awareness of why children and young people may behave in this way, hopefully coming away feeling more confident on how to respond in a helpful way to the behaviours of aggression, as well as what not to do. Let's take a moment just to define what aggressive behaviour is. It's reactive, it's impulsive behaviours that often result in breaking house rules, the law. Aggressive behaviour is violent and unpredictable. Aggression can be a challenge for any child, those with healthy growth development and also those with mental health conditions. Physical aggression often involves acts of violence with the intent of causing harm to the recipient. Anger is often a source of aggression. Aggressive behaviours can also result from many emotions. Harming self or physical violence turned on to oneself can often occur in conjunction with other serious mental health conditions. There are two main types of aggression, hostile and instrumental. Hostile aggression comes from feelings of anger and are aimed at causing pain to others. Instrumental aggression, this is aggression that has a goal other than causing pain. Children develop in their own unique ways, though they tend to follow fairly closely to the developmental stages that are used and set out by childcare professionals. It is fair to say, though, each developmental stage brings new challenges and can often feel like a minefield for those responsible for the child's needs and their safety, and children themselves as they learn to understand their world. Keeping in mind our perception of what happens to us and around us is different for all. The way a child takes in information and feelings and experiences can affect how they respond in the present moment and in their future years. The development of social and emotion skills, such as the ability to manage emotions and behaviours, are learnt by children actively observing their world and learning from those around them. They will also be learning and modelling the skills of building positive relationships. When a child is exposed to violent scenes on the TV, maybe in comics, they witness something happening outside the home, in the home. These have all been shown to have an effect on a child's behaviour. Children can feel unsettled if their behaviour is reacted to in an unforgiving or harsh way, and it can lead to the behaviours escalating rather than improving. An immediate improvement in their behaviour may be witnessed in the moment. This may come when the child is feeling connected. For a child, their feelings can be overwhelming, especially when they experience a feeling that is outside of their understanding, or ones that are new to them, or ones that they have no words to describe. And giving a child ways to manage and understand their emotions helps them handle and express what is going on for them in a safe way. Finding ways for children to express what they are experiencing enables them choice of how they wish to control them. It is hard to wait for children to mature and develop, to wait for self-regulation to kick in. Unfortunately, there is no rushing this process. If you have any concerns about a child's mental health, it is important that you seek advice and guidance from a healthcare professional. As a child grows, you will see glimpses of what is to come. They may happily share a toy, problem solve with a friend, or leave a park without any fuss. And while these are magical moments, it is not a sign that your child is able to do these things 100% of the time. The younger the child, the more help and support they need from you. As a child grows, they will be able to do things more independently, and your role will still be vital, especially when they're flooded with all those big emotions. So taking a moment to look at what may possibly be behind the aggressive behaviours. Could be frustration, could be not feeling heard, not feeling noticed. And I think it's important to remember at this moment that it's how the child perceives things to be going on. It's their perception of their world. We cannot forget nor ignore hormones. They will play a major part in how the children are developing and growing and how they're perceiving their world. Children's brains are not developed enough to allow them self-control, especially in moments when they really want to play with that toy or they are overwhelmed with some other big feeling. We need to consider what and how we impose our ideas on our children. That they should stop misbehaving, that they should know better, that they were okay yesterday, why can't they do it today? In recognising how their brains develop can give understanding as to how and why a child may respond and react as they do. The brain consists of 3 parts and develops from the bottom to the top. While the brain at birth looks completely formed, it can take many years till the parts are fully connected to each other and each of the parts' distinctive functions are actively working. If you take your thumb, this represents the first part of the brain to develop. It is known as the brainstem, the cerebellum, the primal brain, the survival brain. And its job is to keep us alive and safe, responding to anything that could be potentially life-threatening. If you now wrap your fingers around your thumb, this represents the limbic brain, the mammalian brain, the emotional brain. Its task is to process and regulate feelings, i.e. anger, joy, social behaviours, taste, touch, smell. Most of our memory and our language are placed here, along with our stress responses. Now, if you encase this hand with your other hand, this shows the prefrontal cortex, the thinking brain, the higher brain. It is the part of the brain that sets us apart from the animal kingdom and is the last part of the brain to develop, not developing to possibly around the age of 25-30, which can explain why children can sometimes appear inconsistent and capable of making good decisions one minute and other times not. As the thinking brain develops and makes connections with other parts of the brain, this is when self-awareness, empathy, and the ability to think and reason before reacting starts to form. Nestled in the centre of the brain is the amygdala. The amygdala is a control panel for our emotions. Like a computer, when you have too many tabs open, it can crash with overload. When emotions are overwhelming or outside a child's understanding, the system becomes flooded and with uncontrollable emotions. As the prefrontal cortex remains undeveloped, the child's brain does not have the capacity to compute reasoning and judgment making. Our brains are neuroplastic, which means they are forever changing, forever learning. Interestingly, using our hands as a model for the brain will actually be the size of your brain. It is important to honour a child's developmental process. For a child to feel settled and regulated with those around them, they need to feel a connection. Connection for a child is the most intense needable. And by connection, I mean that the child feels they have a bond with you, a feeling that they know you're there for them, that you get them. They feel safe and secure with you. They feel you listen. They feel you care about them. When connection is high, resistance will be low. When connection is low, resistance will be high. It can feel hard to lay down boundaries and to stick to them. Rules and clear boundaries help children to feel safe and secure. Without boundaries, a child can learn that they have the control, that they can control you rather than seeing you as the one in control. When we model discipline as assertive, without anger or shaming, we are showing the child that aggression is not the way to get what we want. It is also helping them to control their impulses, the rages they may feel inside of them. Because, hey, if I kick out, scream, hit, break things, and nothing happens, why do I need to stop? So if we take a look now at the aggression curve, this is a model for what may be happening as aggression starts and the recovery program. What we go through is a sense of calm, then there'll be trigger, then there's agitation, acceleration. We will then reach the peak, then you can have deceleration and recovery period. So what may be the signs that aggressive behaviour may be brewing? We can go from calm. This is when all seems okay. Things seem to be ticking over nicely. Then what may appear to you as out of nowhere comes a trigger. Sometimes the triggers can be easy to spot, and other times you may stand back and wonder what changed, what suddenly happened. The trigger brings a sense of agitation. You may notice a change in the child's behaviour, an unease in them. Acceleration can seem instant to a slow undercurrent of uncertainty. You may notice the child starts breathing quicker, the face may become reddened, and the body may twitch. The child may physically start moving around. The language may become more abusive, angry. At its peak, the abusive behaviour is at its strongest, showing up in a physical or possibly a verbal way. Aggression is often released indiscriminately. Deceleration kicks in. You notice the child starting to lose steam. The physical motions lessen and the verbal slowing down. Be empathetic. Try not to crowd them. Be supportive. The recovery stage is when the tensions tend to be reducing. Though at this stage, it's possible to reignite the aggressive behaviour if we do not handle correctly. So how are we going to handle when we notice the child either starting to go into aggressive behaviour or in aggressive behaviour? You need to stand back for a moment. And I do appreciate that that sounds a lot easier than it possibly is. Physical aggression, yelling, screaming, whining can be triggering for you and those around you. Inside, you might be just wanting this to stop and to stop it immediately. In a moment of panic, you may start giving threats and bids, offering consequences if they do not stop. For both you and the child and those around you, it can be an overwhelming experience. It is a common feeling to want this to stop, but take a moment to consider the bigger picture. Try to see things from the child's perspective. This can be the hard part. Try to enter the discomfort with the child. Think about what could have led up to this behaviour. Who was there? What is there? What was said? Is the child feeling overstimulated? Could they be tired? Are they hungry? Armed with this information actually empowers you and helps you to support them at that moment and gives you awareness for the future. Noticing the possible triggers can help ward off future times when the aggressive behaviour could have been present. Take time to look at your expectations and try and see past the physical or the verbal behaviours. You can help move a child back to a place of safety and calm. Maybe you feel that the child should be able to manage these big emotions now, or they should be able to express what they are feeling with words, not actions. After all, they did last week, or they did it yesterday, or 5 minutes ago. However, learning to pause and look past the behaviours, because past the behaviours that you're seeing are big thoughts, big feelings, and needs. Use clear, simple words for young children. As they get older, they can appreciate explanations about certain behaviours, i.e. fairness and the importance of respecting others. Get down to their level. Use clear, authoritative, not angry voice. And simply say, no, stop, I mean it, and if you do it again, the consequences will be. And ensure these consequences for the behaviour happen on the same day. Disciplining a child in ways that uphold their dignity is a great gift in terms of their mental health and their social and emotional intelligence. Be supportive and empathetic. Do not crowd them or threaten them. It is important to make the child responsible and accountable for their behaviours. Remind them when there's a quiet moment, again in a gentle, caring manner, of how you felt their behaviours were, what it was like for you. By using the word felt, you are owning how it was for you. Therefore, not being blaming or accusing. Ideally, the child takes this information and acknowledges that maybe there was a different way, a better way, that they could have behaved to express how they were feeling after all. Take time to explain that aggression is not an acceptable behaviour. Find ways together that may be used in the future for them to have acceptable behaviours. Show empathy and understanding to the underlying feeling which may have caused the aggressive behaviour. Keeping safe. Don't forget you in all of this. Without your emotional strength and your well-being, you will not be in a good place to handle or support the child, and especially yourself, and all that you are being faced with. Become aware and recognise what's going on for you. Notice how you're feeling. Be aware of how you're coping. Are you coping? Be gentle with yourself. You've been through a tough time. No doubt there will be times when your emotions feel too big, overwhelming. Times when you feel alone, ashamed, not good enough, afraid. Maybe you just want to walk away to a far and distant place. Build a network around you. Family, friends, professionals, other parents. Everyone deserves the right to feel safe. Should you ever feel that the situation is at a point where you're fearing your safety, seek help. There will be times when you're feeling very overwhelmed with what's going on, that you feel there's no escape. Find a safe place, be that a natural place, maybe down by the water, sitting on a hill, within the woods, wherever works for you, or even find somewhere in your imagination. Visualize being there, how it smells, how it feels, how it sounds. Recognize when you have handled things well, and even if they didn't go quite as well as you'd like them to. Acknowledge what you've been through. Tell yourself you did the best you possibly could at the time, because you did. Again, there will be times when you feel stuck. Learn from children. They are good teachers of ourselves. They will trigger us into things from your past. They seem to hold a key to unlock all those emotions in you, many of which you didn't even realise you had. Those you wish to hide, to keep locked deep inside. They will find them. Even though you had to still go through that meltdown, the child is learning. With your help, guidance and support, they will be making connections between thoughts and feelings, and realising that there are other options out there for them besides aggressive behaviour when they feel upset. And remember, okay is good enough.